Here to answer all questions on the DS-160 accurately and completely. Otherwise, you may have to correct your application and reschedule your visa interview appointment. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Travel Discoveries. Today's topic we will talk about the DS-160 form frequently asked questions. So let us further ado, let's start. So all you need to do guys is to go to the Google Chrome and type the travelstate.gov, okay? But since for me I already take a screenshot so that it's easy for me because here at home there's no signal, so I do it now. So let's go here. Okay. So this is the website of the travelstate.gov US visas forms DS-160 online non-immigrant visa application. DS-160 frequently asked questions. Okay, let's start. DS-160 frequently asked questions. Completing the DS-160. Important notice. Take care to answer all questions on the DS-160 accurately and completely. Otherwise, you may have to correct your application and reschedule your visa interview appointment. So it means guys that if you're answering all the information in the DS-160 form, you need to answer correctly and genuinely, okay? So that there is no problem during your visa interview appointment. Electronically submitting your DS-160 online application is only the first step in the visa application process. Once you have electronically submitted your DS-160 online application, you must contact the embassy or consulate at which you wish to apply to confirm whether you need to be interviewed by a consular officer. And to schedule an interview, you can find a list of U.S. embassies and consulate here, with links to their websites where you can find information about scheduling a visa interview appointment. What documents do I need to have with me while I complete the DS-160 form? So you should have the following documents available while you complete your DS-160. First is your passport. So it should be your passport is with you guys because you need to key in the passport number, okay? The second is the travel itinerary if you have already made travel arrangements. Third is dates of your last 5 visits or trips to the United States. If you have previously traveled to the United States, you may also be asked for your international travel history for the past 5 years. This is only guys for those who traveled already before to the United States. So those trips you need that one because you need to enter the date and the time of your travel. Fourth is resume or curriculum vitae. Okay, you may be required to provide information about your current and previous education and work history. So you need to prepare those, your resume and the dates when you started working in your previous and your current work. So in the other information guys, so they will ask you about the purpose of travel, but for us, because our purpose is to go to the US to get married, right, to our fiancé. Some applicants will need to have additional information and documents handy while completing the DS-160. So it means guys that when you're fill up the DS-160 form, everything you need to prepare beside you so that if you really need it, is easy for you answer all the questions and you make it faster. Okay, we prepare all the documents, your resume, your passport, all your travel documents. Okay, because you need to, usually is you need to key in your travel date and everything. First is students and exchange visitors, F, G, and M. You will be asked to provide your CBES ID, which is printed on your I-20 or DS-2019. So you should have this form available when completing your DS-160. You also will be asked to provide the address of the school program at which you intend to study. This information should also be on your I-20 or DS-2019 form. The base temporary workers, H-1B, H-2, H-3, CW1, L, O, P, R, and E2C. You should have a copy of your I-129 available when completing your DS-160. 3 is other temporary workers. You will be asked for information about your employer, including the employer's address. So you need to prepare that, guys. Can my answers be in my native language? Their answer is no. All answers must be in English using English characters only, except when you are asked to provide your full name in your native alphabet. Applications submitted in any language other than English will be denied, and you may be required to submit a new application. So it means, guys, that you need to answer in English, okay? You can use only the native language if they will ask you. While you must answer all questions in English, translations of questions are available in many languages from the drop-down menu in the right upper corner of the application. These translations should assist you in completing the form in English. Are all questions on the DS-160 mandatory? The answer is most questions are mandatory and must be answered in the spaces provided. You may leave spaces blank when the questions are marked optional. You may answer a question with does not apply. When that question does not apply to you, however, all other questions must be answered. All the questions you need to answer, guys, because the system, they will not allow if there is questions not unanswered. So you need to answer all of them. If you do not complete a mandatory question, the system will display an error message and require you to answer the questions before continuing with the application. If you do not answer questions that apply to your circumstances or purpose of travel, the system will not accept your application. Okay. So the fourth question is, are additional forms required? So their answer is no. The online DS-160 application replaced DS-156, DS-157, DS-158, and DS-3032, which are no longer necessary. Note, in addition, the DS-160 Trader/Treaty Investor Visa applicants also must complete an additional form. See the Treaty Trader/Treaty Investor A Visa applicants sections below for more information. What happens to my DS-160 if I select a U.S. Embassy or Consulate where I will be applying for my visa, but end up making an interview appointment instead at another U.S. Embassy or Consulate? So their answer, guys, is the embassy or consulate at to which you actually apply should be able to access your form using the barcode on your DS-160 confirmation page, which you must bring to the visa interview. For example, a business traveler intends to apply for his visa at the U.S. Embassy in City X. So he selects City X as the location where he will submit his application when he completes his DS-160. He then has an urgent reason to travel to the City Y on business. Because there is a U.S. consulate in City Y, he scheduled an appointment for a visa interview there using the barcode from his completed DS-160 application for appointment scheduling. The U.S. consulate in City Y is able to accept his DS-160 even though it lists the U.S. Embassy in City X as the location where he originally intended to submit his applications. So it means that you apply in other embassy and then at the end you change your mind and you apply in other embassy, like for example you apply your DS-160 on Manila, US Manila, right? And then due to any circumstances you selected to take your interview on Singapore US Embassy. So still you can proceed, guys, because they allow you, still they can access your form using your DS-160 barcode, okay? So there's no worries about it. Still you can have your interview in other US Embassy or consulate. So the next question is, how do I sign the DS-160 form? Electronically sign your DS-160 by clicking the Sign Application button at the end of the form. Failure to sign may result in termination of the application. Your electronic signature certifies that you have read and understood the questions in the application and that your answers are true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief. Of an application containing any false or misleading statements may result in the permanent refusal of a visa or denial of entry into the United States. All declarations made in the application are unsworn declarations made under penalty of perjury. Okay? Unless you are exempted from appearing in person, your fingerprints will be electronically scanned on the day of your interview. By providing your fingerprints, you will again certify that you have answered all questions on the DS-160 truthfully and to the best of your knowledge, and you will tell the truth during your visa appointment interview. Is, can a third party complete the form on my behalf? Who is exempt from signing the form? Okay. So their answer is, if an applicant is illiterate or unable to complete the application must be assessed by a third party. The third party must be identified on the Sign and Submit page of the application. While the third party can assess the applicant in completing the application, he or she must instruct the applicant on how to endorse the application on his or her own behalf by clicking the Sign Application button. If the applicant is under the age of 16 or physically incapable of completing an application, the applicant's parents or guardian may complete and click the Sign Application button on his or her behalf. If the application has no parent or legal guardian, then the application may be completed by any person having legal custody of or a legitimate interest in the applicant. The third party can do it instead of you guys. All you need to do is to click the Sign Application button. Okay. The DS-160 contains terms that I am not familiar with. Are these terms explained? Okay. Explanations of the following terms contained in the online DS-160 form are available to you as help topics while you complete the DS-160 and are also provided below. Help: surnames. Enter all surnames or family names exactly as they are written in your passport. If only one name is written in your passport, enter that as your surname. So it is 160 form, and in your passport it should be the same. Okay, help given names. If your passport does not include the first or given name, please enter FNU, meaning first name unknown, in the space or given names. Okay, third is help other names. Other names used include your maiden name, religious name, professional name, or any other name which you make sure to enter the other names you have used in full. So those, if you have only used another surname, enter it along with your usual given name. If you have only used another given name, enter it along with your usual surname. So help telecode. Telecodes are 4-digit code numbers that represent characters in some non-Roman alphabet names. That's for date of birth, enter as shown in your passport. Also, in the place of birth, please choose the name currently used for the place where you were born. And the phone number, you must provide a primary phone number. The primary phone number should be the phone number at which you are most likely to be reached. This could be a landline or a cellular or mobile number. If you have an additional landline or a cellular mobile number, please list that as your secondary phone number. So it means, guys, that you need to provide the active phone number so that it's easy for them to reach you. And then if you have another phone number, you can put it as secondary number, so that if the primary phone number they cannot reach it, they can reach you in your secondary phone number. Okay, so identification numbers. Your national ID number is a unique number that your government may have provided. For example, the US government gives unique numbers to people looking to work or who pay taxes. And another is other nationality. So enter all nationalities you currently hold and all nationalities you have previously held, including United States if applicable, regardless of whether you have formally or legally relinquished the nationality. So it means that aside from, for example, you are a Filipino citizen and then you become an American, so you need to write it down there. And if you are a Singaporean, yes, you need to write it down also. Okay, so it means that you are a triple or dual citizenship. Okay, permanent resident. Permanent resident means any individual who has been legally granted by a country or region permission to live and work without time limitation in that country or region. Okay, passport, travel document number. Enter the number of the passport or travel document you will use to travel to the United States. This passport document must still be valid and must identify you and your nationality. Passport book number. The passport book number is commonly called any plans or immigration problems. Please check it out, Filipino Visa. But depending on the country that used in your passport, please contact your passport issuing authority if you are unable to determine whether or not your passport contains a passport book number. Expiration date. In most cases, your passport or travel document must be valid for at least 6 months after your arrival in the United States. So it should be your passport will be valid for 6 months, guys. Okay? Application receipt petition number. If you are applying for a petition-based visa, Your application receipt petition number was given to you by the Department of Homeland Security, okay, or USCIS after you filed your petition application at a USCIS service center. So the application receipt or petition number is 13 characters long and the first 3 characters are letters. So that is started with, for example, WAC, and then next is the numbers, guys. Okay, so previous employer, please enter information regarding your previous 2 employers only. Applicants may choose to bring along a separate written list of all previous employers to the visa interview for reference. The next question is, how can I save my application? Can I stop in the middle of the application and return to it later? You can save your application or return to a partially completed application. When you begin a new DS-160, you will be issued a unique application identification or ID number after selecting and answering the security questions. Once you have your application ID number and selected and answered the security question, you may exit the DS-160 application and return to it later. You must have your application ID to return your application. To save your DS-160 to the Consular Electronic Application Center website, click the Next button at the bottom of each page you complete. You have 30 days to return to a partially completed applications. To access your application after 30 days, you must save it to your computer hard drive or a disk, as explained in the fact below. Okay, so you can save, guys, your application and you can go back later. Okay, the next question is, how do I save my DS-160 application to my computer hard drive or a disk? Looking for a serious relationship or your soulmate? Let's check it out. Christian Filipina. Do I save my DS-160 application to my computer hard drive or a disk? So their answer, saving to a hard drive or a disk will allow you to access your application after 30 days. To permanently save your application to your computer hard drive or a disk, select the Save Application to File button. Then click the Save button on the File Download window. Identify a place on your computer to save the application, browse to the location, and click the Save button on the Save As window. The system will download your application to the specified location. Once the download is complete, you can click Close to return to the live application on our website. Note, applications saved to the hard drive of a public or shared computer or memory device could likely be accessed by anyone else who uses the computer or device after you. I apply for US visas often. Can I reuse the DS-160? Yes, you can use information from a previously submitted DS-160 to populate some fields on a new form. There are 2 ways that you can do this. First, if you plan to apply for a visa in the future, save your DS-160 to your hard drive or a disk using the instructions in the facts above.